Good morning, all you cool cats and kittens.
She's been dying to say that.
I have.
For several weeks.
Well, I figured since she does her dancing thing, that's how I'm going to introduce us.
Speaking of dancing. Ruger's like, I'm out. I'm dogged out. He's used to it. I was just waiting for that part.
Yeah, I could tell. She loves to
You
dance,
know.
y'all.
You know me. It's fine.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about food.
Oh, okay, food.
That's one of our favorite things.
It is. You mean like the Olive
How
Garden
many?
I just
Yeah.
ate?
How many breadsticks did we get? Was it
Like 4 dozen.
Tuesday? We had a lot of breadsticks.
We
We had a drawer in the fridge full of breadsticks.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was delicious. I have gotten Olive Garden. Well, don't tell my husband. I hope he's not the one watching.
Yeah, don't say it in public then.
I mean, I had Olive Garden like 4 times this week. But 2 of the times I only got
They
Alfredo
were like
sauce.
leftovers.
No, I
Oh, was
ordered
it?
it.
Oh. Well, I was trying to help you, but
Yeah, no. 2 of the times I just got Alfredo sauce though, so it's okay.
that's fine.
Yeah.
You just eat Alfredo sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So yeah, I mean, we're not going to talk about our diet
No, thank you.
because it's not. It might not be what people consider balanced or healthy, but that's not our jobs either. We're not human nutritionists. It's okay. It's okay. We don't treat people. Don't mind Ruger Allen just wandering around, sniffing all the things. So instead, we're talking about diets or foods for pets. This is definitely kind of a divisive topic, I think, sometimes. People can get real heated about it. Real heated. So we'll see if we decide to turn off comments. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think about foods?
I
Don't
think.
don't name any brands that you would not like.
Okay. I personally, and I told Dr. Hogan this, I don't know a whole lot about the different foods and like what is best. So that's why I told her not to ask me any questions because I probably don't know. But I think that they're very confusing, and I can see why people get confused when they're in the pet stores
for sure.
wondering what kind of food to feed.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so many. There's so many options. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then there's all these terms that some of them mean absolutely nothing. But you hear all these different terms thrown around, all the organic or human grade or grain free or natural or so many things. Like I said, some of those terms don't actually have a real meaning or like a set definition. Some of those are just fancy advertising words. So that makes it very complicated too. And then add to the mix that you have people, he's just standing behind you, it's fine. You have all these people in the pet stores who may or may not know what they're talking about. You have all the brand ambassadors and that are out there that'll tell you lots of fun things that may or may not be correct as well.
Right,
So
because they get paid to sell certain foods, right?
Well, right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally their job.
Yeah.
So that's something. It's funny to me. I've heard people before that are like, well, you get kickback from the pet food companies to recommend certain things. I mean, if other people are getting these kickbacks, I want to know how I get on that list because I've never gotten anything from anyone. Yes, they buy us a couple lunches in vet school, but as people that are basically, you know, a type of scientist, that's not, like, that lunch did not buy my loyalty to your particular brand. Sorry,
Well,
pet food
and that
companies.
was 100 years ago when you were in
Well,
med
exactly.
school.
Yes. Yeah,
So.
exactly. So, you know, it's never about that for me. And I don't care where you buy your food at, whatever. I just want your pets on something that is balanced. So let's talk about what that, how do you determine that? Do you remember what the statement is called on the packages? You don't have to know what the letters stand for. I'm putting you on the spot, I know.
I don't know.
It's okay. It's all right. Most people don't know. It's all right. So there is a statement that is on any package of food for pets called the Afco Statement, AAFCO. I don't know that I really remember what it stands for. American Animal Food. I don't know. Something. Afco is all I remember. But it's basically it's kind of like a regulatory body for pet foods, and so they are the ones that come up with what these statements are that are referring to if a diet is balanced, and in what way did they determine that. They also, if you go to the AFCO website, there are definitions for every ingredient that is in your pet food. Has an actual definition. So, you know, there was advertising, gosh, not all that long ago, talking about byproducts. Well, what are byproducts? And there are specific definitions for those things on that AFCO sets out. So, and that's what all these pet food companies follow. Even just what's on the front of the bag of what kind of flavor or what kind of labeling the diet has, that's all kind of outlined in that too, other than, like I said before, certain terms aren't like a real thing. So that's iffy. But anything else, so there are things, I don't know if you remember this from school, you know, that was only 82 years ago for you.
Yeah.
So you're just going to keep getting older too.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel that.
Exactly. So there's what was I going to say? I lost track of so on the fronts of the bags, like the foods, and that they have, it'll be salmon and rice, or salmon flavor, or chicken flavor. There's definitions for what that means. That can be kind of tricky. There's a little bit of I think it's a little bit of a misnomer there, because I've certainly seen there's plenty of diets that'll say, oh, this is this food and it's salmon and rice. Well, that doesn't mean it's just salmon. It means that there's some salmon in it, and there's regulations as far as how much has to be in there to have that particular labeling. But then there's other ones that say that they're salmon flavor. Well, salmon flavor, that doesn't have nearly as much as if something was just salmon. So there's rules on all of that stuff. So it's very confusing. It's tricky. Requires a lot of research in that to get to. What I find that's easier is that, like I said, that Afco statement. So any pet food will have an Afco statement on it. And there's options for what that statement says. It usually says one of two things. Either it'll say, this food has been formulated to meet the needs of blah, 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 blah. And it'll say, you know, maybe growth. It'll say maintenance of adult animals. It'll say pregnant and lactating, or it may say all of those things. It may have all of them on there, or it may just have one or just a couple of those groups. It just depends on what it's been formulated to meet the needs of. The other statement that is my preference whenever possible is it will say the food has undergone AFCO feeding trials or diet trials and been found to meet the needs of blah, 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 those groups. So, you know, those things, that's going to be more accurate. Why?
Because they have specifically done research testing.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's
animals.
like real life proof that it met the needs of those groups of animals. Whereas when it's just been formulated, that means, okay, well, we plugged it into a computer and the computer says that this should work. Unfortunately, just like with medicine, you know, we're talking about biological creatures that don't always, you know, fit a certain formula. You know, it's not always
cut and dry.
Cut and dry. It doesn't, they don't always read the textbooks. So, just because it's been formulated to meet those needs does not mean that it actually, in a real life animal, is going to meet those needs. And I think that's where we've gotten into some issues with some of the boutique diets. And I'm gonna pick on them for a second. I'm not gonna name names, but they've spent more on advertising than they have on actual research to prove that their diets work and are safe. Just like in medication, it needs to be proven that they undergo FDA trials to ensure that there is not only efficacy but also safety. It has to have both. So, just because something is safe, here's a sugar cube, it's safe. Is it effective to treat your animal's pain? No. It has to have both things. So same thing with diets, that they need to have undergone some kind of testing to prove that they are both safe and effective. And so, with the newer research that has come out, that there is a concern that some of the grain-free diets are not meeting those needs. Again, they were formulated to meet those needs, but that that wasn't tested in the real life animals. We don't know for sure until these animals have been, basically your pet then is the food trial. Your pet is the guinea pig. Is the tester. And so do you want to find out 10 years from now that diet was not balanced really? We thought it was, but oops, it wasn't. And now your animal is the one that's ending up with heart issues that nobody knew about or had any way to be able to predict. So that's a big thing for me, because I don't want my animals to be the guinea pigs. I want to know that what they're eating is going to be safe for them, and I want to know that it's going to be balanced for them. Yes, there's special conditions where certain animals have different needs. There's some that have food allergies, or there's some that need higher protein levels. Maybe they're more, they're working dogs and things like that. But I think that's part of where we get into issues too, where we've seen with certain diets or certain types of diets, it's really funny that all of the past however many Ladderstone cases that I've seen have all been on this same brand of food. That's interesting. I can't say for sure that it's the food's problem, but you start kind of wondering.
It's ironic.
Yeah, it's a little suspicious. But that's quite the coincidence, or you see a lot of overweight animals on grain-free diets.
Should we just say that most animals don't have a grain allergy?
Yeah. Even those that have food allergies, majority of the time it is not a grain issue. It's not a gluten issue in the vast majority of cases. And unless you've done an actual food trial, which I think we talked about in our allergy video, and you've actually re-challenged them with grain, so meaning that we took away any of the allergens in the food, and they were doing great, so they responded well, their skin cleared up, fabulous, but then you re-challenged them, meaning that you reintroduced whatever that particular allergen is, whether it's chicken or greens or whatever. You did one thing at a time, and you brought it back, and now they flared up. Okay, now you have proof that they had a grain allergy. But yeah, vast majority of food allergies, it is not the grains. That is not. And so that's why we have people who come in and we'll start talking about food allergies and they say, oh, it's okay. My dog's on a grain-free diet. Like, cool. But that's not usually what we see for allergies. Right. Usually it's to the protein source that's in there. So it doesn't matter you fed grain-free, chicken and something, well, they're allergic to chicken, it doesn't matter. So yeah, so that's a thing. So yeah, I don't have a good reason for, I would say 99% of the pets that we see, I don't have a good reason for them to be on anything that's grain-free. And in light of Mr. Brinker Allen, you can kind of see him just like in the corner over there. He just barely. So yeah, he's a good boy. So that's something that I think is important. And in light of the new research that's coming out that says that there's, maybe a connection between the grain-free diets and heart issues that's causing a nutritional deficiency, it's causing a heart problem in dogs. They've not found any link, I don't think, in cats just yet, but who knows? But yeah, with that, I sure as heck wouldn't be feeding grain-free.
Well, it's usually more expensive.
It is.
So if my animals can tolerate the grains, I'm not going to spend extra money.
No. No, especially when you have as many as we have. You know, when you got a couple dozen
animals.
When
you got 82 animals.
I went with a couple dozen. 82 just sounds unrealistic, Crystal.
Well, but it kind of feels unrealistic sometimes.
It kind of feels like it sometimes, yeah. It's like, why? Why do I have so many? And then I look at their little baby faces, like that one. He's like, I'm snoozing, Mom. So yeah, so I do tend to see, I do feel like I see more obese pets on grain-free diets than other things. Again, not super scientific, but it just happens a lot because some of the, carbohydrates in that are going to have fiber, which is going to be more filling, which is going to be lower calorie. So I think that's part of it. It's just more nutrient dense. And so if you're feeding that same quantity, or your animals acting like they're starving because they're not eating enough, well, you know, you need some carbs up in there. You need some fiber. See, they need the carbs.
I need some carbs.
You get plenty of carbs. About your breadsticks. Oh, man. But yeah, so I think that that's important. So I think whenever possible, and we're happy to talk to you on a one-on-one basis about, you know, what diets we might recommend for your particular. I'm happy to talk to you.
I'm happy to talk about the quantity that your animal gets.
There you go.
She's happy to talk to you about what they're
kind.
Eating.
Yeah. So if you have questions about a particular diet, let us know. You know, it may be just that we're like, well, I would suggest maybe something else. You know, but yeah.
Oh, don't worry, Diana. I'm going to remember that cup today.
Are you supposed to bring her a cup?
Yeah, I am. And
this
she's
is
mentioned
a cup.
it.
This is not a cup.
She's mentioned it a couple times and I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
I will bring it home today.
Yeah. This is a coffee cup. This is good for my coffee. I still drink like 5 of them a day, but you know,
She does.
fine.
So let's talk about like homemade foods too.
Okay, sure.
Because I know a lot of people think that they're doing something good by making their dog's food at home.
Yeah.
And there is a way that you can do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Also need...
I'm not going to do that.
No. I don't even cook for myself.
Yeah, exactly. You're lucky.
I'm not gonna cook for my dog.
The other night I had like one slice of leftover pizza for dinner, and poor Jason was like, oh, I guess we're just doing leftovers? I was like, yeah, I'm too tired. I'm not cooking tonight. So I barely cook for us, or, you know, much less my dogs. I love them, but no.
And a way it's
and it's hard. And so it's very difficult to home cook for your pets. Oh, I don't know what we just heard, but okay. He agrees.
Yeah, he does.
It's difficult.
He's like, I don't want to eat mom's cooking.
I don't want to eat my mom's cooking. He's like, I'll have another piece of breadstick if Crystal gives it to me, but that's it. So it's very difficult because you don't want to have an issue with nutritional imbalances, and so you have to follow a pretty specific recipe, and you want a recipe that's been made by or approved by a veterinary nutritionist, not some rando on Pinterest. You know, that's probably not going to be a balanced diet. You have to follow it exactly. Not substituting things, not changing things, not like, oh, I ran out of that supplement that was supposed to be added to it. It's fine. No, because that's where you get into trouble. So that's important. So if you're going to home cook, you need to have consulted with a veterinary nutritionist or had one that has a recipe to follow, and you follow it to the T, for sure.
Because I know we've had some pretty imbalanced diets in the past. And they have a website. Do you remember what it is?
Yeah, there's a website called balanceit.com, balanceit.com, that you can go on, and they have a whole bunch of different diets on there that actually, it's not going to have been food trialed, not feeding tests, but at the very least it's formulated, which is better than, just Googling dog food recipe and picking whatever the first one is that you find. You're like, ah, that sounds good. It's got potatoes and green beans and some chicken. That'll be good.
Seems easy.
It seems easy. Just throw it in the slow cooker and call it a day. But yeah, there is a website for that. Again, probably wouldn't be my first choice, but there are times where that's an appropriate option. They also have recipes on there that are basically for veterinary patients. So animals that have, I don't know what he's hearing. I think he's just free. Have recipes for certain conditions. So if you have like a kidney failure patient, or liver issues, or whatever, allergies, things like that, that we're trying to eliminate certain things, and that would be a time that it may be more appropriate to home cook, is if you've got allergies and it's hard to find a diet that fits with what your pet is allergic to. Then home cooking is, nobody can hear me anyway.
No,
home cooking may be a good way to go. You just got to make sure that you're finding a recipe that is at least thought to be balanced at a minimum. But again, consulting a veterinary nutritionist, and there's one at Mizzou in Columbia, so that's an option. Just make sure that it's good. It's good.
Good.
Mm-hmm. What else? What other diet questions do we get? And not diet like weight loss, but like just food. Feeding questions. I know one. So cats.
About eating dog food.
Well, no, it wasn't. But yeah, we can mention that. So, do you know why? So yeah, it's like that teacher thing where I just ask you it back.
I actually think that I do know this one.
Okay.
So cats can eat dog food, but it shouldn't be their primary source of food because they need the taurine. Is that
yeah, so I wouldn't recommend cats eat. I mean, if they ate, like, it's not gonna kibble here or there, nothing.
Like my cat goes over to my Chihuahua's kennel and gets out a couple pieces.
Yeah, I guess it's not gonna hurt them as long as that's not their main diet. Yeah, exactly. You're right, because of the taurine deficiency. Cats cannot make their own taurine, so they have to have it in the food. See,
I did know something.
Nagi. So it has to be supplemented in the food, which a lot of dog foods don't contain extra taurine. If the cat was to eat dog food exclusively, that would be not good. What does it cause when they have taurine deficiencies?
Heart problems?
Yes.
I was thinking kidneys, but it didn't sound right.
It'll cause a heart disease. So that's not good. That's not good. So what about dogs eating cat food? Is that an issue?
I mean, I don't think that they should eat it.
Okay. Why?
You get too much taurine?
Nah. Not really. That's not really a concern. Nah. No.
So if they ate it all the time?
It's not really gonna hurt them to eat cat food. No, it's fine. It's all right.
Well, there you go.
They're okay. I mean, I don't know why you would want to do that, but yeah. And again, obviously it's not really balanced for a dog, but it's less of an issue for a dog to eat cat food than it is for a cat to eat dog food. So, but I was more thinking about like the dry versus wet food situation. So, in general, my recommendation is I think in a perfect world, we'd feed cats wet food exclusively. I understand that is not reasonable. I do not feed my own cat wet food exclusively. It's just not a thing I can do. And some cats are dry food addicts. Like, they will not eat canned food. They just won't. So there's ways around that. But do you know why that's ideal for them to eat wet food?
So I know in diabetic cats, you prefer them to eat wet food.
Why?
Is it that it's lower in sugar at all? I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking through why you would want that. Yeah, there are some wet foods that have a lot of sugars in them. The ones that have like the gravy, anything that says even gravy tends to have more sugar in it. But yeah, that's one reason. But they do tend to be a little lower carb. Okay. So when you have a diabetic patient, that is a time when you want low carb. So yeah, that's a thing. Also, just the increase in moisture. Most cats aren't big drinkers.
Most of them, they just don't do it. Some are. Some of them camp out in the sink or by the bowl, or they'll drink out of your glass. Cats have very specific preferences when it comes to drinking water.
Luckily, mine does not.
That's good.
That wouldn't work in my house.
Yeah, mine doesn't either. She just drinks that out of a bowl. She's fine. But yeah, so some cats they just don't drink a lot of water, and especially when we have conditions of like fluted cats. What's fluted?
Feline lower urinary tract disease.
And what does it mean?
Basically, where they get like inflammation and irritation of their bladder.
Yeah. So it's an inflammation of the bladder. It feels to them basically like they have a UTI, but there's no bacterial infection there. So yes, so fluted UTIs, stones, or if they have crystals in their urine, that extra moisture kind of helps keep the urine more dilute. Other things, diabetes is one, just keeping them good and hydrated because they're losing a lot more water through their urine, so just another way to keep them hydrated. Kidney failure patients, it's nice for them to be on wet food because, again, that increased moisture they're taking in because they tend to be losing more through their urine because they can't concentrate it correctly, so just keeping them from getting dehydrated. So yeah, so there's a lot of benefits to it, especially for cats. Like I said, I understand it's not really feasible for everyone to do canned food exclusively all the time, but yeah, I think in a perfect world we would. But I get it. Like I said, my cat she gets dry food. She also really likes water though. She's into the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's not really.
Like she drains that bowl every day, man. She's all about it. So yeah. So that's little Grudy. Grudy Tooty Fresh and Grudy. My little wobbly cat. Someday we'll do it. We'll talk about her.
Yeah.
We'll talk about her issues.
I think that this is my dog now.
You think so? He's chosen you. It's because you fed him breadsticks and Alfredo.
You're not supposed to tell people that.
Well, it's fine. He's a big guy. He can handle it. It wasn't a whole lot. It was just enough.
Are you my dog now? Do you
He's
want to
like,
come with the other 84?
He's like, I might chew on your face too.
Well,
I like to do love nibbles.
Yeah.
I like love nibbles.
Oh,
yeah. Ruger Allen. This is Ruger Allen. He's here. He's just here for vaccines.
He's my dog now.
He's no. He's my perfect little baby guy.
Yeah. He wants his name Crystal.
No.
Yeah.
It's just because he can't reach me.
He just nibbled on my lip.
Because he's a little drunk because he doesn't like to be in a kennel anymore. So he had to have a little something today.
Take the edge off.
Just a little something to relax him so he wasn't freaking out all day. Right, buddy? Yeah. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Anything else about diets? Any other questions that we commonly get?
No.
Can you think of anything? I can't think of anything either, but I think that's the biggest thing, like I said, for me when choosing a diet is looking for that Afco statement and see that it has been tested, it's been through food trials and shown to be balanced for whatever life stage you're needing to feed. For sure. Yep. That's it. That's all we got today.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're looking at me like that.
Are
Are you just ready to fall asleep? It's like that post-lunch nap time.
Well, I mean, that's true, yeah. No, I was just thinking of the cool cats and kittens thing.
That's Crystal's new opener every time.
I don't know if we're going to go every time.
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin. Oh, Lord. If you haven't seen that yet, you need to watch it. It's like a bad train wreck.
It is a train wreck.
You watched all of it too, though.
I did.
Don't act like you didn't.
And I judged myself.
So did your husband.
I know. He'd come in and he'd be like, oh, no. Why are you watching it? But then he sure would stand there, like behind me, behind the couch, stand there watching it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Because you can't look away. I mean, Jesse, my husband and I were watching it, and I'm like, you want to watch the next episode? He's like, yeah.
See? Just resigned to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
And then you call people and you talk about it.
Yeah.
We always make jokes about Carol Baskin here.
We do. I'm gonna make some Carol Baskin shirts with that vinyl that you got.
Okay.
We'll wear those one
Don't
time.
threaten me with a good time.
I got a Cricut that I've been using and playing with. It's a good time. So.
Yeah. If you have any cool things that you've made or things that we need to make, hit her up.
Yeah.
I need some cool stuff.
Crystal bought like a whole mess of vinyl this past weekend, and yeah.
I don't even have a Cricut, but I was like...
She bought it for me to use.
There was a great sale.
Oh, there you go.
And luckily, I already told my husband about all the things that I bought, so it's okay.
It's okay.
That we're talking about it. But I was like, this Lisa... It looked like a Lisa Frank, like, leopard
we love
print.
Lisa Frank.
We do. It was like a leopardy print with
Yeah,
like
like
all
a
different
rainbow,
colors.
like cheetah print, leopard print.
And it was
whatever you call it.
originally like $24.99, and it was on sale for $9.99. And I was like, we need that.
Yep.
I don't know what we're gonna make with it.
I don't know.
I don't know what you're gonna make with it.
Something. We should sport some really cool shirts next week. Yeah. You know, with all my free time, I'll do that.
Yeah. Well, we need it.
All right, everybody. Well, we will see you next week. It'll probably be Wednesday again. We'll see. She did take her kid to the dentist yesterday, so.
I did.
Yeah. So that's why we missed you yesterday.
Yeah.
That's okay. So we'll regularly schedule same bat time, same bat channel. You don't get that. It's fine. It's because I'm 300 years old.
Yeah. She ages really fast. Yeah.
Yes, I do. So we will see you next week.
You're not gonna
Thanks
come,
for tuning
you're not gonna
in.
come in. You gotta
It's Eileen then.